Hiya friends, Prepared Suburbanite back with you. Well, as some of you know, we took a trip to Pennsylvania here from Raleigh over the 4th of July holiday weekend. And I noticed when we were en route that there was an extraordinary number of limbs and trees that had either the limbs had broken off or the whole tree had just collapsed and fell down. And I'm not sure I've seen that phenomenon happen at any other time, but right now we are in the midst of an extreme drought here in North Carolina. And I took a quick survey of our property and noticed that very simply that we're losing limbs and trees all over our property. And I was curious to try to figure out what the root causes of all this was. So I checked with ChatGPT, and here's the deal. It's water stress. And when drought continues for even a short period of time, like it's been for maybe a couple of months here, that the water columns inside the tree's xylem, that's the structure that kind of holds the whole tree all together, those columns, the water columns, can break. And it's a process called hydraulic failure. And it prevents water from reaching the upper canopy of a tree. And that's what I am attributing this whole phenomenon to. So I took a survey of our property, and the first one that you're going to see is a beautiful dogwood that sits right outside our front steps on our porch that had been doing pretty darn good up until this year. And when we got back from our 4th of July holiday, there was nothing left of it. All the leaves had dried up and flown away, and it was just nothing but dead sticks on a tall tree stump. And so I'm going to have to figure out how to cut that thing down so that it, because it's dead all the way through right now. And just before we left, we've got a sweet gum tree right at the corner of our property that kind of hangs over the neighbor's driveway. And that thing has been here for well longer than we've been here, and we've been here for 25 years. It decided to let go, and that big upper branch, the main trunk of that tree, cracked off about probably 16 to 18 feet up in the towards the canopy, and that whole top came down, crashed across my neighbor's driveway, blocked him in. He called a tree service guy, kind of a fly-by-night apparently, and came by and cut most of the stuff up and got him access to his driveway again. And I talked with my neighbor just the other day, and he had made arrangements with another tree service to come in and take the whole rest of the tree down, grind up, shred all the limbs and dead leaves and all that kind of stuff, and the guy never showed up. So I told him, because that's on my property, I feel a responsibility there, so I'll cover the cost of getting that tree taken down and getting that cleanup taken care of for you. And he was certainly amenable to that, and I'm figuring it's going to be somewhere between $500 and $1,000 to have a tree service come in and take that down. As you can see, I'll post the a quick little video of the tree and the devastation there. But you can see that there's that one main trunk snapped off about 18 feet up in the air, but the other one that came off on the left-hand side of the tree kind of came out this way. That just dried right up, and all the leaves have turned brown and started falling off and all that. So it was quite a mess, to be sure. So I'm going to run through the video that I took this morning of some of the trees in our neck of the woods here. Okay, now you can see the dogwood tree that's right out in front of our house, and it bit the dust over this extended period of drought. It's a shame. It truly is. That was a beautiful, beautiful flowering dogwood. And here is the sweet gum tree that's right at the corner of our property. And you can see about 16 feet up there that it broke right off the main stem, and the branch that leads off to the left there died almost immediately when that thing fell. So it created quite a mess. My neighbor had to call a tree service to come in and clean up his driveway because he was totally blocked in, and that's just the way it is. There's the upper trunk of the tree laying right next to his driveway, and it goes down into the creek bed there, and you can see as the camera pans up there where it broke off, and it's just snapped right off and created really quite the mess. So I'm not sure exactly how all this is going to play out, but we're going to cover it. There's another piece of the damage that you see out there, and it truly is one of those kinds of drought-related devastational things that cause all kinds of havoc, and it gets pretty expensive to get these things taken care of. So now that you've seen that kind of devastation, there's a number of other factors that can weigh into this, other than the stress on the trees from the lack of the water being able to reach the crown and causing weakness in the tree trunks, which causes them to snap and break off. It increases tree mortality. When the trees dry out, they become a victim of insects, and the root systems can get damaged and all that. So it increases tree mortality, which we can certainly understand. The vulnerability to insects, the increased potential for disease manifesting itself in the tree itself, wildfire risk because the trees are dried out. They serve as great tinder for any kind of a wildfire that may be happening. It changes the forest composition. When trees die, other trees come in underneath it and start growing up. So it can change the ecostructure of a forest, or even a small wooded patch that you may have around your house. So drought-sensitive species are obviously the most vulnerable to extreme levels of drought. Reduced carbon storage, which affects the absorption of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, and we count on trees to produce the oxygen that we need to breathe. So that's another impact of this. Wildlife habitat, um, owls, you name it, that make nests in the upper branches of the trees, squirrels and raccoons and all that kind of stuff. They don't have any place to go when the tree falls down. So there are some pretty significant impacts of an extreme drought on our native tree population. Um, can they recover? Well, it depends on the severity. But a tree like I just showed you, uh, that's not going to be recoverable at all. My dogwood tree is not going to be recoverable. Going to have to take them both down. The sweet gum that's out front and that dogwood that's by the house here. It's just kind of a terrible thing. But that's what we've been experiencing here in central Piedmont area of North Carolina, is this extreme period of drought. So what can you do to prepare for it? Not much. You can have a good chainsaw ready to go if you've got to cut those limbs down, but watering the trees I don't think is anywhere near efficient. So you sometimes just have to let nature take its course in these things. This is the Prepared Suburbanite reminding you to be prepared always, and I'll see y'all on the next video.